Hello and welcome to episode one of the Saints Struggle. I am Manxman Matt, and this is going to be our first game of the season. The fixtures have changed because of the FA Cup games, so we were supposed to be playing Man United in January, and that game got pushed back, so the Watford game has been moved as well. So I did say in the last episode we'd be coming back for the Watford game. That's now moved. So the first game in February is this game against Manchester United. I'll take you through our transfers first, and then we will go into the current team, and then I'll go into the game. So as you can see, I've made a lot of transfers. I've spent a lot of money. I think the club had spent maybe 20 million at most. I know maybe a bit more than that, but certainly below 30 million. We've now spent 100, and they brought in a lot less than the 121. So I'll take you through the outs that I remember whilst I've been at the club. So I think that arrested to do was before me, but he's obviously clearly not going to get in the team anyway. So I've sold Roland Sally, who is an attacking midfielder that wasn't ever going to get used because we were not using a centre attacking midfielder. I've sold Wanpai, if that's his name. Jake Vokins has gone out on loan. Harrison Reed has gone out on loan, and I've sold Figueres and Sorensen. Figueres is a centre back that was never going to get in the team after the players I brought in, and Sorensen was a right back that couldn't do a job at right wing back. He was an okay as a cover at centre back, but he couldn't play in the roles that I'm playing. I'm sticking with the 5-2-3, the five at the back with two wing backs, but I needed players that could do jobs in the positions that I wanted, and we just didn't have the guys that have sold either couldn't do a job or were in positions where we had too many players. So if we look at who we've brought in, the first signing was Harry Maguire from Leicester. Now it's £30 million. I think I've spent 15 up front and 15 over 3 years. So looking at him, he's clearly a good centre back. He's better than anything, or as good as anything we had at the club at the time. Lenglet is one of our starting centre backs. As you can see from here, we've also brought Gary Cahill in. So my plan was to have Lenglet, Maguire, and Yoshida at centre back, but obviously now with Gary Cahill coming in again at the end of the transfer window, that's given us an extra good quality centre back. Next one was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He was on the transfer list, and I knew the fans would love it if we got him back. Obviously, Arsenal bought him from Southampton in the past, did they? I just want to check. Yeah. So yeah, he's somebody that's come through our youth system. Liverpool bought him for 35 million and weren't really impressed. I'd forgotten he was gone to Liverpool. Yeah, he was on the transfer list. Looks like he's actually played a fair few games for them last season, but didn't play at all for them this season. And we've picked him up for £20 million, which I think is a good deal. He's as good, if not better, than any of the players that we had on the right hand side of midfield. The next one, I've brought in Jackson Martinez. Now he's on stupid amount of wages, but £115,000 a month is being paid by his former club. So he's earning nearly 230,000 pound a week, but we're not paying a lot of that. We got him in on a fairly low. I think we paid 10 million. Did I say? Yeah, 10.75 million, which is nothing. He hasn't scored yet, but hopefully he'll kick on. He's certainly a lot better than any of the other strikers we had at the club. And I was concerned that we weren't going to score enough goals with a single striker if they weren't one of the better players on the team. So I'm going to continue with the single striker formation for now. I may well change that up, but with the players that we've got at the club, we need to be playing with wingers, and I think that probably means we're going to have to go for a single striker system. I don't want to play with wingers and with a pair of strikers because it's going to leave us short either at the back or in midfield. The next one we brought in is Yannick Gerhard, who's a left fullback, left wing back from Borussia Dortmund. Probably about the same as Ryan Bertrand, but he can do a job at wing back, which our other fullbacks couldn't. We brought in Gary Cahill for no money at all from Chelsea. He's on the transfer list, not playing much at Chelsea at all. Of those 22 appearances in that first season, I think I gave him at least 10 of those. So Luis Enrique clearly doesn't rate him, whereas I'd quite like to have him. He's played 5 times this season, and then he's played once for us. We bought him in for £1.3 million, which I think is a steal. All right, he's fairly expensive on the wages, but £70,000 for a couple of years, I'm happy. And the final player I brought in was Eric Durm. Again, we had a right back that couldn't play right wing back. We've got Cedric, who's going to be our starter, but Durm, once he gets fit, is going to be another option at right wing back. He's certainly good enough to get in our team either way. I think Cedric will probably start in the end, but he's wanting very little wages. We've actually still got a load of transfer budget left. So we've still got £26 million and £184,000 a week worth of wage budget. I just couldn't find anybody that would come to us that would improve our squad. Very early on in the transfer window, I stupidly thought that all the players in the transfer window would like to come to us. So I tried to buy Julian Draxler and Edison Cavani. Obviously, neither of them interested in coming to us. We also agreed a deal to bring in Bakayoko from Chelsea, who was unhappy and was on the transfer list by request. But he wanted £175,000 a week. He's not even on that at Chelsea, and he's not really that much better than any players we've got in central midfield. He's certainly not as good as Oriol Romeo is on the game. Romeo is unhappy because I rejected a £15 million bid from PSG. Now, he's the best player in central midfield at the club, so there's no way I'm letting him go for less than £70 million. And the way sort of the stupid money in football is these days. So he's unhappy. He requested a transfer. I've had to put him on the transfer list by request, but for now, I'm wanting to keep him. He's here till 2021 at the moment under contract, and I'd far rather keep him as an unhappy person than let him go, because we don't have anybody else that can do that defensive central midfield role. So let's get into just have a look at our current lineup. So we've got a few injuries at the moment, and I've just sold the guy who was at right wing back. So Cedric is going to go into that role, and is Eric Durm? Yeah, Eric Durm is back fit again. So this is the team that we're going to be using. So we've got Fraser Forster in goal, Harry Maguire, Danny Cahill, Gary Cahill, and Clement Lenglet as the centre backs. Cedric and Gerhardt in the fullback positions. We've got sorry, that's the wrong central midfield partnership. It should be Lamina and Romeo. So the actual central midfield partnership is Lamina and Romeo, with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right, Sofiane Boufal on the left, with Jackson Martinez up front. The bench has got Ryan Bertrand, Eric Durm, Højbjerg, Jordi Clasie, Dusan Tadic, Nathan Redmond, and Gabbiadini. To be honest with you, we probably should have a centre back on there, so let's just have a look. We don't need there's only two central midfielders in the game, so let's take Højbjerg out, Yoshida on, so we've got a cover for both fullbacks and the centre backs, central midfield and both wings. Yeah, that's what we're going to go on there. Gabbiadini is going to be my cover for Jackson Martinez. I think he's slightly better than Prato, and I don't rate Charlie Austin, and neither does the game. Or certainly neither do our scouts or assistant manager. So that's going to be the team we're going to go into this next game, and we're going to try and not get absolutely smashed by Man United. Actually, quickly, I'll just take you through how the games have gone. So my first game was the Derby game, which we won, which I'm annoyed about not that didn't record. But there's not much I can do. It was a early goal. Prato missed the penalty, and Boufal scored the rebound. That we were really unlucky. Prato hit the penalty straight at the goalkeeper, and then stood there and watched as as two Derby players tried to clear it. One Derby player kicked it into the other. I think it was Andre Wisdom kicked it into somebody, because I remember having a rant about how shit Liverpool play and ex-Liverpool players are. But so they cleared it into the other, and Boufal just came in and stuck the rebound into the open goal because their keeper was still on the floor. Then the next game was a fairly good performance against Stoke. So we got a couple of goals from Lamina and Oxlade-Chamberlain, but other than that, not much happening. We then had a 1-1 draw at Brighton with nothing much happening. A 0-0 draw with West Brom. We then lost to Brighton in the second round in the FA Cup, which I'm really disappointed about. And then we lost to Burnley as well. So we need to start picking up some form. I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of games. Playing United and City back to back is going to be tough. I'm also going to be under pressure. I need to finish mid-table. I told the board that I would get to the fifth round of the FA Cup because I think that was the lowest we could do when I got knocked out by a Championship side. I think Brighton were down in the Championship. Oh no, Brighton are still in the Premier League, but still they're below us in the table. So we really need to try and push on. And here's a quick look at the Premier League table. So we're down in. I hate this touch screen. We're down in 15th position. We're 6 points off relegation, but I need to sort of push up and be looking to finish 8th or 9th. And for us to be finishing there, where we need to make 11 more points than some of the teams that are above us. So we need to start picking up some decent points here, and hopefully we can start that off. Probably not with a win today. That's quite unlikely, but I'd like to see what we can do today against some of the stronger sides. So for those of you that are interested, that's the United team. Obviously, it looks like they've bought a fullback on either side. The Shilio, I think is how you say that. Is the guy who's at AC Milan, I believe. I've never heard of Visajko, Visajko, whoever he is. Never heard of him. Don't know who that Zielinski, who's playing in central midfield with Pogba, is. Got Marshall and Mkhitaryan on the wings and Mata playing behind Harry Kane. Um, so I'm quite worried about that team. I mean, you've got any team with Harry Kane in it. Michael Carrick, you're a moron. What? Harry Kane's not good enough to close down? Type mark? No. I, I, Harry Kane is one of the players on Football Manager that I get worried about. He's clearly one of the best strikers in the world, which I hate saying because he's a Spurs player, but he is, and him now being at United is just going to be strengthening them. They tend to do well anyway, so let's see if Mourinho can get the best out of him, or whether he's going to be on his way to being sacked. I haven't actually looked at where United are on the league this year. I think they finished second last year. So yeah, United is second this year as well, so looks like they're going well. I would suggest Harry Kane is probably scoring well, but I can't check that till after the game now. So the first highlight, and it's a clearance by us. Won back by Lindelof. Pogba up to Marshall, out to Mkhitaryan. Swings it into the back post to Marshall, who's put it over our goalkeeper's head and into the corner. As I said, I wasn't expecting much out of this game, but Mkhitaryan was in a bit too much space there. Nobody closed him down for the cross, and then Marshall's run from deep. Whoever was supposed to be picking him up hasn't, and when we've got three centre backs, to concede a header from Marshall is a little bit disappointing. So Mata here with a free kick. It's DeCilio out to Marshall, into back to DeCilio again, and then saved by our goalkeeper. So half time, and United are clearly dominating everything from possession to shots and shots on target. We've gone counter in the hopes that we can maybe hit them on the break, but we're struggling to do that. 1-0 with those stats is not too bad. We managed to keep them to mostly having shots from long range, so they've had 14 shots but just 5 on target, which is good for us, but still, we've not yet had a highlight, so although we've had 2 shots on target, they've not been anything of note. Let's get into the second half and see if we can scrape a draw in a game where we don't deserve it. Actually, Oxlade-Chamberlain is injured 10 minutes into this half. That's disappointing, but Dusan Tadic is just going to come on and just be an advanced playmaker out there instead of the winger that the Ox is. I don't know whether Oxlade-Chamberlain is a bad injury or not. It's just said that he's taken a knock and he wants to come off. He could have played on, but I don't want to risk it. I'd prefer to try and protect players like Oxlade-Chamberlain. We'll have a look and see if we need to make another substitution in about 20 minutes time. So Buffal with the ball in, just got straight to Harry Kane, who's knocked it forward to himself. Mkhitaryan's got the ball now into Pogba, Mata, well cut out by Romeo. Buffal out to Martinez, into Buffal again. Buffal cuts inside, shoots, puts it wide. So with 20 minutes to go, I'm going to do something which I said I probably wouldn't. I'm just going to move things about a bit. I'm going to play Dusan Tadic in behind there. I'm going to take Buffal off, and I'm going to go to a two-striker system. See whether that's a way to get in behind United's system. So we'll play Gabbiadini and Jackson Martinez up front, Dusan Tadic behind them, and then just see if we can work something from there. I'm not sure that it's going to work, but we've got one substitution left. If it doesn't, we can always. And I think Gabbiadini can play out on the left anyway. But we'll just see if we can get anything with this. So Sicilian clearance, but only as far as Cahill's forward. Dusan Tadic has put Gabbiadini in, and it's a great save from David De Gea. So we've now got a corner. Tadic has taken the corner. Kane's cleared it, only as far as Lamina. And that's the end of that highlight. So there's only 8 or 9 minutes left, plus added time. I just want to make sure that we get through the game. I think I'm going to give Durham his debut here at right back. He was injured when he first came to the club. Just want to see whether he can do. Yeah, so he's certainly going to be a similar player to Cedric in that position. And it's just handy to have somebody who can cover us a bit. In fact, I think I'm actually going to make this side a wing back on support, because we've got Lamina there in central midfield, who's a Roma playmaker. So whilst he does come deep sometimes, other times he's going to be way out of position. So I think that fullback probably needs to come back a little bit to stop leaving any big gaps. We'll see how this goes anyway. Mkhitaryan's got the ball. Zielinski's now got it. Back to Mkhitaryan into Ander Herrera, who's thrown it way over the bar. And I would expect this to be the end of the game highlight. Out to De Chilio. Our keeper clears it, but only as far as De Chilio. United are now breaking through the middle. Gerhardt's got it though. Gabbiadini, and he's put it wide. That's disappointing, and that's the end of the game. So if you'd given me 1-0 to United at the start of the game, especially when they're second in the league, I'd have taken it. Not too much I can say about the result. They had far more of everything, and we managed to shut them down. Harry Kane didn't have a sniff of a chance all game, which is good. A little bit disappointing that their one goal did come as a header from Marshall, but there's not much we can do about that. It's a little bit disappointing now that we're on a run of losses again after picking up when I first joined the club. We're going to struggle in the next game because that's Manchester City, and then we need to sort of change things. So Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's out for 6 to 11 days. I'm going to leave him to a physio, and I'll use one of the other guys that can play out there. So let's just have a look. I think we'll probably play a few more games. The run-in's probably going to be more exciting than anything else. I think if I come back for the Palace game, and then I'll try and do 2 games in the run-in, so maybe do something like Newcastle Brighton, or maybe, in fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll play Crystal Palace in the next episode. Then we'll play Derby, who I could have gone to and chose not to. And then we'll come back and do the final episode as the final day of the season against Chelsea. So you can see how much better they are for me not being there. So that's been this episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. Please don't hold me to the games that I've said we played, because by the time we get there, I'll probably have forgotten, or I may forget to record episodes. But like I say, should be back for the Crystal Palace game, and then we'll do Derby and then Chelsea. So if you've enjoyed this, please leave a like. If you want to see more from this, subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching.